So today we're gonna be doing a comic review, guys. This is gonna be uploaded onto both my TikTok and my YouTube. So I hope y'all enjoy. We got Absolute Flash today. And this was really fucking good. I have my notes right here so that we could talk properly about it. But let me get a pub. Okay. So, with Absolute Flash, they did some changes. And we're going to be talking about them. Talking about the changes, the original work, and we're going to talk about the new stuff, which surprisingly, there's a lot more changes, which makes me really happy because I don't always want to add new stuff at a big company. Just saying. Alright, so when it comes to Absolute Flash issue 1, I wanted to talk about Jeff Lemire first. Because Jeff Lemire is a fantastic writer. If you haven't heard of him, well, what are you doing as a comic bookie? Get on Jeff Lemire. For me, I'm not really big on Sweet Tooth, just because I'm not really big on the animal humanistic featured art. It weirds me out. But other than that, I would recommend Sweet Tooth. But his other works, for me at least, Moon Knight. Moon Knight was one of my favorite comic books in history, at least for me, by Jeff Lemire specifically, because it dived into mental health. And I struggle with depression a lot. So reading that with Moon Knight, it made me relate to the character that I always really found interesting because of him being called the rip-off Batman. So now you're telling me that he struggles with DID, and I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. Another one is Batman and Robin. It came out, if I want to remember correctly, in 2021, and it was a retelling of one of Robin's first adventures with Batman, and it has him fighting Killer Croc. Another great one, which I absolutely love, that I really need to finish that drawing, is Swamp Thing Green Hell. In this comic, Earth is basically like just humans are dead. We killed ourselves, which we are currently doing. But in this comic, we've already basically extincted ourselves. And there's just monsters coming for the last bit of humanity. And, well, you have Animal Girl, the granddaughter, I want to say, of Animal Man, or the daughter of Animal Man, whichever one. I couldn't remember off the top of my head right now. It's been a few years since I've read it. And Swamp Thing fighting for the last bit of humanity. And they die for us, letting us choose. Sorry, guys. Letting us choose our fate. And I just thought that was really cool. Works that I'm personally going to be reading in the future by, like I said, Jeff Lemire is going to be Animal Man, the New 52. And the only reason I haven't read it is because I really strongly despise the New 52. I feel like it bastardized so many characters that I just don't want to get into it because we're talking about the Absolute Universe, guys. Okay, another one that I'm going to be reading in the future is Constantine. Constantine has always been one of my favorite characters because he was one of the first comic book characters I was ever almost given a comic of. And the reason why I say almost is because my stepfather was really religious, and he didn't like comics because he thought they were all made by the devil. Yeah. But Constantine was one of those comics where if I did bring it home and he saw the art in that, yeah, I was not going to hear the end of it. But I would learn of the character because of the internet. And I fucking fell in love with the guy. John Constantine, the man that has tricked the devil himself, the man that has tricked 4 devils into selling his soul and still being in them all for his soul, is a really loving character of mine. Because I relate to him the way he smokes a lot. I'm playing. But, yeah. John I've always had a loving spot for the guy, so I'm probably going to check that out, especially if Jeff Lemire is written with him. So, the next thing I want to talk about is the artist. The artist, Nick Drobal, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, drew this specific cover. And it is the original, which is really well done. I really love the essence that it's trying to capture. It's so simple, running in motion. Like, I love it. Now I'm going to open it to show some of my favorite panels that I loved from this. Starts off with this one. One of my favorite just Flash panels in art history now. One of these days I'm probably going to reference it to draw. But this too, the art itself is just so well done in this comic that I can't help but want to study it more and more. Just more and more I just see it and I'm like, I love this. It just speaks to me so well. I'm probably going to take a little montage of pictures and just show them to y'all. But the art is just done so well in this entire comic. Like I keep on saying. He just outdid himself. And I can't wait to see what they do together, Jeff Lemire and Nick Drobal. I really hope I'm pronouncing this guy's name right. Those were basically the ones that stood out to me. I'll do a little clip montage of all the pages that really I loved. But I wanted to also show off the variant cover. This variant cover is by Dan Panosi. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong too. But yeah, this one is by him. And there's also a variant cover by Clayton Crane. I will have that pop up when I say it. It's Jeff Lemire himself, Declan Chauvel, and Rafael Albuquerque. I'm pretty sure I fucking bastardized that so bad. But yeah, those are the variant covers. They all were fantastic. Oh, sorry. Alrighty, sorry guys. My cousin's grandma came in. But yeah, these covers were really well done. I want y'all to see them. If y'all see them online, cop them. They're really well done. Especially the Jeff Lemire one, because if I find that hoe online, I'm gonna buy it. That was my favorite because I found it so funny. Hey, buy this. If not, I'm gonna die. Like how comics work, you know, if you don't buy the comics, like the character get the runs canceled and they're basically dead, and then they're done, and then people just like they're done, and it's just what the fuck. And that's what happened with Blue Beetle. He had an ongoing series, had 2 runs in it, and then got done. And we're not gonna talk about it no more because if I do, I could talk about it for a very long times. And yeah. Alrighty. So the things that I've noticed specifically when I was reading it. So the change works. The mom's dead in this comic. Main continuity, we just don't know much about her situation. I'm just assuming she's dead because when I read the quick synopsis of her history, it said that she was dead, but then went to Miami, didn't die, but then just kind of just got forgotten by comics. So, yeah. This version of Wally West struggles with anxiety, it seems like. And the reason why I'm saying that is because in the first few panels is him saying, breathe, Wally, breathe, breathe. And with somebody that struggles with anxiety, I have a breathing technique that I do when I'm feeling angry with myself or feeling frustrated with myself or vice versa. When I'm having an intense emotional uproar, I tend to go... and it helps me, for the most part, restabilize myself and see if what I'm getting angry at is valid enough to cause a full reaction or not. And a lot of the times, it is not worth a full ass meltdown and me bruising up my knuckles and vice versa. All right. Barry works doing biological science over there at Fort Fox. This is something that I loved, but also just found so strange because I also felt like Barry being a forensic scientist was something that was a product of its time, you know, and now him being, like I said, a bioscientist is a reflection of that. Him being a reflection of his time. So they wanted to show that Barry was a smart man and all that, and had a high position. So we'll put him as a head of a science department. It seems like, and it works. You know, I'm not tripping. Like it works for Barry in that universe too. And it's like I said, there's not going to be a mentor figure, so I'm very confused on what my next statement when it comes to this. Okay, one of the Fort Fox's experiments are telepathic monkeys or brain monkeys. And that, if you're a comic bookie like me, that brings to mind Gorilla Grodd. But I also start to think of the Ultra Humanite and the brain. So there's multiple possibilities where this could go from, because this could be also just a new work in itself. The Project Olympus. We could see with Project Olympus with what they were doing, and what if it didn't just stop at at monkeys? What if they have gone into human biology and experimented on humans at one point in history? And what if the enforcers that they have, the rogues that we are seeing, are already experimented on or going to get experimented on in the future? Because we had a 1-year time skip showing us Mirror Master. And what is Mirror Master doing? Like, that is just the plain out truth. What is Mirror Master doing? Alright, so, okay. Okay, I already talked about the rogues. So, the final big thing that I guess I could say is the death of Barry Allen in the same issue. And this issue takes place between 3 days. Each day is basically a flashback until we get to the final present. And the final present is Wally running from a mess that he blames himself for, which he didn't even create. He was just there at the bad time, the wrong moment at the wrong time, just one of those situations. And now he's being blamed for the death of Barry Allen because he most likely had his DNA there. And we don't know. Like, and the reason why I say that is just because I want to figure out with the next issue. This issue has gotten me excited for the Flash again. I'm not saying that I'm not excited with what's going on currently, continuity, because they finally gave Wally West a weakness, which he really needed. But with this, it's like, what the fuck? You know, what is the future going to be? Because they gave us a 1-year time skip, and Mirror Master is going to be the 1 year. And to me, Mirror Master has always been one of my favorite Flash villains because there's so much potential you could use with a character like that. A character that has the manipulation of reflections. You could do so much with that because there is a reflection on nearly everything. Everything could be viewed as a mirror for the most part. Water could be viewed as a mirror. You could view spoons as mirrors. You could use metal as mirrors. You could use mirrors themselves as mirrors. A reflection has so much capabilities. And I want to see if Mirror Master is going to be the villain that they're building up to. I want to see how they're going to make a guy that's like, if you like Mirror Master, then yeah, you like him. Other than that, he's not really cared for. Like, I do like the guy. I always found him interesting, especially with the Flash TV show. They reused him as the Mirror Mistress, and I'm not gonna say I hated it. I thought it was alright. But now you're gonna give me a Mirror Master as the villain? Okay, let's see this. I want to see it. Alrighty, I think that's basically all that's I wanted to talk about with it. Structure your stuff out, guys. It really does help.